Good eve. Ooh. Oh my God. Excuse me. Hi there. I don't know if you can see the book now that I've hit the tripod. Um, anyway, this is the book I plan to read a little bit of tonight. From Young Man in a Hurry by Gavin Newsom. He says, I wasn't trying to get off easy. I wasn't looking to blame my lineage for the way I interacted with the world, but I couldn't very well puzzle out myself without puzzling out who and what had come before me, before my image had been curated and projected onto the screen by the packaging of politics. I was some combination of genes and upbringings whose imprint I struggled to deduce. I had my father and no, hold on, he writes it this way. I had my mother and father as flesh and blood, my grandparents as smoky, indistinct figures, and their parents as only a legend or two. Who were they truly? I began to tunnel backward, the questions more lucid in my head. I might have stopped at the first painful revelation, but my obsessive gear kicked in and I kept on boring deeper into the past. This is ISBN 978 1 9848 8193 9. Penguin Books. Okay, and I'm going to read you. Oh, well, the full title is Young Man in a Hurry, a Memoir of Discovery. Okay, so here I'm going to read you part of the title, except for Gavin Newsom is the governor of California. He previously served as Lieutenant Governor of California and Mayor of San Francisco. I have something to say about this part right here myself. Yin Yang was homeless in 19, what year was it? Anyway, when Gavin Newsom was mayor of San Francisco, I was homeless in San Francisco. I wasn't working in San Francisco, but I was homeless in San Francisco. And I attended something called the Homeless Connect, which really helped a lot. I tell you, I kid you not, I was the last person to leave the building. I was the last person to leave the building of that event that afternoon. Anyway, Gavin Newsom made an appearance there. I did not go anywhere near him because I wanted to make sure my face wasn't attached to the homeless connection. Well, think of it this way. We all live our lives a certain way, and that's what I did, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This is his story here. Before elected office, he was a small business entrepreneur. He founded the Plump Jack Group. It's a compound word with a capital J is in the compound word. He founded the Plump Jack Group, which now consists of 12 retail stores, wineries, hotels, and restaurants. He is the husband of Jennifer Siebel Newsom and the father of 4 children. Now, I don't know if you recall during well, I guess it was in the local news. Uh, During COVID, he had 2 barbers. They were ages 7 and 9. Anyway, then we're going to read the title, the cover. Go slow, quote, end quote, his political elders advised him. But Gavin Newsom has never known such a speed. For Newsom, the California dream is what lured his father's family from County Cork, Ireland, 6 generations ago. His great great grandfather, a cop, walked a beat in San Francisco, where almost 150 years later, Newsom would be elected as mayor, running on the values instilled in him by his family history. That California's open arms must continue to extend to each new generation. Newsom has never lived anywhere but California. Born in San Francisco, his parents divorced at a young age, and his childhood was spent being tugged between two worlds. His mother worked three jobs in order to care for her children, while his father, a close friend of the Getty family, brought Newsom into San Francisco society, a world of wealth and connections. The dissonance was frustrating and made all the more difficult because of undiagnosed dyslexia. But the vantage point was valuable. He inherited his mother's perseverance and his father's reverence of California, not only its wildness, but its opportunity. The Goatman 2016. Oh my God. Hi, Evan Smith, 1961. Like that book, The Goat Man says. Oh, good. He inherited his mother's perseverance and his father's reverence of California, but not only its wildness, but its opportunity. In Young Man in a Hurry, Newsom traces hey there, T Jed 901. Newsom traces the forces that have defined his ambitions as a politician and have pushed him to outpace the nation on myriad cutting-edge social issues that have since entered the mainstream. As mayor of San Francisco, he made waves when he violated state law in order to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples more than 10 years before the Supreme Court made such unions legal. He launched bold efforts to he launched bold efforts to counter climate change, improve mental health care, and enhance gun safety, and worked to preserve the California dream, capitalized, for his constituents. Elected as governor on the eve of unprecedented wildfires and entering office into immediate hyper-partisan headwinds from Washington, D.C., Newsom has constantly and consistently stuck his neck out. Here, for the first time, he reflects on the long personal journey that ultimately shaped him into one of the most recognizable and accomplished elected officials in America. Filled with intimate family history and written with candor and remarkable personal insight, this is a deeply resilient California story of identity, belonging, and the defining moments that inspired a life in politics. Oh dear, I keep on hitting that tripod. Thank you for reading it to me. Aha, I'm going to put this jacket cover here. I'm pulling up the book so that we can look at it a little bit. Young Man in a Hurry. Oh, I wonder if you can see it. Can you see it even? I'm not sure. You're welcome. Thank you for coming to hear it. Let me see. Let me see. Is it standing? It's standing. Okay. Now I'm going to look at the prologue. It is to Montana, Hunter, Brooklyn, and Dutch, my four children, may they carry on the story. Prologue. He says, I am sitting in the office of the Mediterranean style house in a green belt of Sacramento, a landscape that still feels foreign to me. All my life, the air I breathed blew in from the Pacific, the smell of sea and redwoods along the San Francisco coast. The bluff we now call home is rare high ground in the great flatland of the Central Valley. Our yard is studded with oaks and overlooks a river, the American, that carries a different scent. This is the river where the story of California, at least the gold rush version we like to tell ourselves, the shout of Eureka! Eureka! began. It is 5:30 in the morning in the middle of summer. I am writing this from a time and place when the seasons have already begun to lose their capacity to tell us what time and place it is. Spring used to mean the abundant snow melt that recharged the rivers that flowed across the California plain. Spring, deceived, now means another year of record drought. Heck, summer as a boy meant traversing the Sierra Nevada with my father, William Newsom. Explorations that always carried added meaning because he left us when I was so young. Sorry, but gotta go to sleep. Okay, well, you know what? I think I'll just end it here too. Why not? It's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes. This is not a long, well, yeah, it is a long prologue, actually. I'll finish this paragraph. Okay. Explorations that always carried added meaning because he left us when I was so young, for reasons that neither he nor my mother ever made clear. In those years when he was most alive, he was determined to pass on to me his veneration of California's rivers and mountains. I now leave his old cabin in Dutch Flat in the hills of Gold Country, wondering if I might never see it again, for summer has become the season of fire. There were indeed many fires in California in the last 2 years. So I'm going to put it here. What was this one? This was 1962. Yeah, 1963. Okay. So we will talk about it again. We will talk about it again later. Uh, this is the book, and we've got the intro to it. And interesting. The Goat Man 2016. Nice to see you. Is that the time of day? Oh my God. Okay. Well, I will talk to you again later. I will see you tomorrow. I don't know what time because I haven't figured out what time to do this yet, but we will find out. Okay? Old Kinderhook.